Exceeded season opening expectations by going 7-0 in his first 12 major league starts. And while he's gone winless in his last 3, he can still claim a sparkling 5-1 record in 8 home starts and is holding right-handed batters to a 151 batting average. Ogando looks to regain his dominating form and earn win number 8 right now. It's Friday Night Baseball on TXA 21. We begin the holiday weekend with the Florida Marlins in for 3 games against the Texas Rangers with temperatures near 100 degrees. And the Rangers come back from winning 2 out of 3 in Houston, trying to at least that against another National League club. Welcome, Dave Barnett, along with Tom Grieve. The Rangers also hope to see the return of the Alexi Ogando they saw, Tom, at the first 12 starts, 7 of which were victories.
Yeah, and Dave, when you look at Ogando in his last 3 starts, there's nothing wrong with his stuff. He's still throwing 96 or 97 miles an hour. His breaking ball still breaks the same way. The problem he's had with his fastball is when he misses, he hits the center of the plate. He hasn't been able to get his breaking ball over quite like he did earlier in the season. The hitters have been able to wait for their fastball, and they've been getting pretty good fastballs to hit. If he can locate his fastball better, get his breaking ball over, he'll be right back where he needs to be.
And he's been excellent, as you can see at home. 5 wins among his first 8 starts. He also has Elvis Andrus behind him. Elvis returning after missing 4 games with the sprained left wrist last night in Houston. Couple of hits, couple of stolen bases. The Marlins, a rare visit to Arlington. Lineups and the first pitch are next. TXA 21 is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T, rethink possible. by TXU Energy. To find a plan that's right for you, call TXU Energy. The right things right now. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout days. Rangers return home after winning 2 out of 3 at Minute Maid Park in Houston, wrapping up the Lone Star Series with their second win of this week's series on Wednesday night. And now the Florida Marlins in under their 80-year-old manager, Jack McKee, in his lineup today. Emilio Bonifacio leads off, followed by Omar Infante. Gabby Sanchez, talented young first baseman. Hanley Ramirez in a terrible, worst of his career slump all year. Logan Morrison is at left. Mike Stanton, another promising young hitter in right field. Greg Dobbs is the DH. John Buck, familiar to Ranger fans, a lot of time in the American League. He'll do the catching. And Dwayne Wise, the veteran, in center field. Jack McKeon was special assistant to Marlins owner Jeffrey Loria until the resignation of Edwin Rodriguez, who was the first Puerto Rican native to manage in the major leagues, in the midst of a horrendous month of June. So McKeon, who of course managed the Marlins 03, 04, and 05, won the World Series with them. 1903, National League Manager of the Year that year. Was called back in, and he had been watching the Marlins minor league clubs, so he was very familiar with their talent. And month by month, as you can see, after a strong start this year, they were up to, at one point, 10 games over 500. And Tom, the bottom absolutely fell apart last month.
Yeah, and maybe in April and May they weren't quite as good as 32 and 18, but they're definitely a much better team than 5 and 23. And really, it's the same with a lot of teams. All they need to do to be better is for the different players to play up to their potential and just be the kind of players they've been in the past. For some of the younger players to develop a little bit, because they're a lot better than 5 and 23.
Rangers made a player move today with relief pitcher spot starter Dave Bush designated for assignment. And if he will sit up, you will recognize the familiar form and face of Tommy Hunter, who is now in the Rangers bullpen. He pitched last night for Round Rock in the 9th inning, threw 15 pitches, 9 for strikes, got it up to 95 miles per hour. And in almost nothing but a starting role with the Rangers, 13 and 4 last year, 22 and 12 overall. Numbers in 7 rehab games at Round Rock, not that great, but he was throwing very hard, and he didn't work back-to-back games at any point with Round Rock. But Ron Washington said before the game that if the need arises, he might use Tommy Hunter out of the bullpen. But he considers him someone who will strengthen the picture, trying to get the Rangers through the 8th inning. Could be very useful in the 8th inning. I'm not sure exactly what the fascination with the Red Bull can is for Tommy, but he is engrossed in it. And with the object to get the ball to Neftali Feliz in the 9th, Wash and General Manager John Daniels think that they have added a significant part to that bullpen. Behind tonight, Alexi Ogando.
Yeah, and Alexi, a lot has been made about his last few starts, but when you add it all up, he still has the 9th best earned run average at 287 and the 9th best opponent's batting average at 217. He's got a 151 opponent's batting average against right-hand hitters. And even though he's 0-3, 931 in his last 3 starts, you have to judge him by the overall performance of 15 starts, and it's been very, very good. Nothing wrong with him. He's healthy. He just has to get back on track, throwing his breaking ball for a strike and locating his fastball a little bit better, and everything will be fine.
Defensively, the Rangers line up this way with Hamilton, Chavez, and Cruz in the outfield. Beltre, Andrews, Kinsler, Moreland back at first base, having played right in National League parks this year. And Taylor Teagarden gets his first start behind the plate since Sunday. So we're set to go, and Emilio Bonifacio, maybe the fastest player in baseball, looks at a high strike. 96 degrees as we get underway tonight. First of 3. A roller right up the line and handled unassisted by Mitch Moreland.
right off the bat, we said he had to locate his fastball better and get his breaking ball over the plate. And in 2 pitches, he did that. He got ahead with his fastball for a strike and then threw a good breaking ball that got the little roller to first base. So 2 pitches into the game, nicely done.
So the second baseman now, Omar Infante. He is having a phenomenal year defensively. He leads all National League second basemen in fielding. Offensively, the Marlins were expecting more. He hit .321 last year with the Braves, led Atlanta in hitting. Made the All-Star team for the first time in his career. Marlins got him in the Dan Uggla trade last November. And at just .257, that's more of a drop-off than anyone anticipated. They would accept around .280 for him, but he's not close at the moment. Ogando, even through his struggles, able to hit 96, 97 with his fastball. 96 there to even the count. Drops in a nice slider there, 1-2. And gets a pop-up left side of the infield. Beltre comes in. And right on the line, just in fair territory, he handles the second out. Tom, if you look at the strike percentage from Ogando, it's virtually the same as when he was so hot.
Yeah, and I think what that shows, when you see that he's thrown 9 pitches per inning more in his last 3 starts, and then look at the hits. He was giving up 6 hits per 9 innings in his first 12 starts. In his last 3 starts, he's given up 19 hits in 9 innings. So he's being hit more. The reason he's being hit more is because he hasn't gotten his breaking ball over. They've been sitting on his fastball, and he hasn't been locating his fastball. The other reason he's had to throw a lot of pitches is there's been some errors made behind him. And anytime you make an error, prolongs the inning, and he's been a victim of that. In his last 2 starts, he's given up 5 unearned runs. So the defense behind him hasn't helped him, and he hasn't helped himself with the location of his fastball. But the good thing is he's healthy. He's throwing a better breaking ball in 8 pitches tonight than we've seen. That was a strike with 1. He got an out with 1 earlier. And, you know, maybe he's just trying too hard. Maybe he just had to slow things down and relax. Because that's exactly what it looks like he's doing. It looks like he has calmed his delivery down. There might have been some times over the last 3 games where he was overthrowing, trying to throw that perfect breaking ball. They were bouncing, trying to throw that hard fastball at 97 miles an hour, and he was leaving it up and out of the strike zone, or sometimes catching the middle of the plate. So far in this game, he's thrown good breaking balls.
Fastballs up to 97, just exuding confidence, and 9 of his first 11 pitches have been strikes.
You know, we talk about his last 3 starts. His start in Atlanta really wasn't that bad of a start. He pitched 5 innings. He only gave up 1 earned run. He only walked 1 batter in that game.
And he finishes off a very impressive first inning by striking out Gabby Sanchez. Nothing for the Marlins. Rangers coming to bat. first inning after a 12-pitch, 10-strike top half of the inning by Ogando. And it's Kinsler, Andrews, Hamilton, Beltre, Michael Young back at DH. Nelson Cruz back in right. Left field of the National League cities. Moreland from right back to first. Teagarden catching. Andy Chavez bats ninth in center field. And they will face 27-year-old Anibal Sanchez.
Yeah, this is a good young pitcher. All you have to do is look at his numbers, and it's pretty obvious. 2.82 ERA, that's ninth, just like Ogando's in the National League.
And Ian Kinsler goes after the first pitch. And the pop-up has three defenders converging, and the left fielder Logan Morrison finally takes charge.
He's third in the National League with 9.1 strikeouts per 9 innings, 107 strikeouts in 105 innings. He's pitched well in interleague games. He doesn't walk many. He's only walked 29 in 105 innings. His hits to innings ratio is very good. He's a good, solid young pitcher, and he's healthy. Last year was his first full season of health. He'd been struggling after arm surgery through about 3 years of off and on arm problems, but he's healthy now, and he's a good one. He's not an overpowering guy with his fastball. In that regard, he might be a little bit like Jair Jurgens, who's not a 95-mile-an-hour guy, but with his other pitches and with the movement on his pitches, he's getting the job done.
That's a big key. Everything moves. And he pours in 2 strikes to Elvis Andrus. Elvis with 2 of only 4 Ranger hits all last night. It's Wandy Rodriguez through 7 shutout innings. Rangers shut out for just the 3rd time this year. They've all been on the road. And the 0-2 pitch a little bit low.
Sanchez was part of one of those classic trades. Young players for veteran players. He came over from the Red Sox with Hanley Ramirez. They traded Josh Beckett and Mike Lowell to the Red Sox.
Lifted high to right field, and Mike Stanton grabs the second out.
It served the purpose for both teams. The Marlins were trying to get rid of salary and get good young players. They've got a top of the rotation starter, an all-star shortstop. And the interesting part about that trade was the Marlins told teams, you can make a trade for Josh Beckett, but you have to take Mike Lowell too. They were just trying to dump his salary. The Red Sox accepted that, and Mike Lowell turned out to be an integral part of their team, one of their championship teams. The Red Sox had to pay a lot of money for Beckett and Lowell, but boy, they sure added something to make them a championship team.
Josh Hamilton 3 for 3 against Sanchez. And against the Marlins, 5 games, 10 for 22 with a home run. Rangers last year went to Miami, swept all 3 games, part of their sizzling month of June. Sanchez with terrific change.
That's why I compare him a little bit to Jair Jurgens. Jurgens, he must have thrown 40 changeups in that game, and they were good ones. And Sanchez, I won't say looks just like Jurgens, but he has the same type of repertoire as Jurgens has, and they're both pretty much in the same spot in the ERA, top 10.
Very close to sneaking that fastball past Hamilton. Angel Campos behind the plate, must have said a little bit inside, 3-2. Joe West is at first, Lance Barrett at second, Angel Hernandez the ump at third. And after narrowly missing the called strike 3, Hamilton works the walk. He's aboard with 2 outs for Adrian Beltre.
Right, he threw him the changeup on 3 balls and 2 strikes. He was upset with himself because he didn't throw it for a strike. I think he felt like he might have had Josh set up for that changeup, but it was way outside. Another guy in Jack McKeon's staff that's worth mentioning is their infield instructor, Perry Hill. Perry Hill grew up in the Ranger organization. He's a good friend of Marty Scott's, and he's become one of the better infield instructors. Great reputation as an infield instructor. Perry's from nearby over in the Hearst, Bedford area.
Strike 1 to Beltre, who made the 3rd out in all 4 of his at-bats last night, one of which was a double play grounder. Committed an error. which really helped the Astros build the lead to eventually 7-0. And just not a really good series at Houston, 2 for 13. Adrian says he's seeing things fine. He is just missing a lot of good pitches.
Well, that's what it looks like. You know, in that game, in the games in Houston, he had some fastballs to hit and hit those kind of pop-ups where you just, as a hitter, you shake your head. You know you hit the ball right on the good part of the bat. You timed the pitch well, just a little bit underneath it. Hit the ball with the bases loaded the other day pretty well to right center field. Gave it a ride to the warning track. Just got underneath that pitch a little bit.
Yeah, that was the Rangers' big chance, as it turned out.
It could have made a huge difference in that ball game.
Yeah, that change bends him back, and it's 3 balls and a strike.
It's 97 degrees, but that shouldn't bother the Marlins at all. They're used to playing outdoors in Florida.
Well, they're used to 97% humidity with 97
probably
degrees.
Worse down there.
Only for the rest of this year, though. Good pitch right there. Looked like Beltre was just a hair off.
Yeah, we got to look at their new stadium in Miami, and it looks like a beautiful stadium. It's got a retractable roof, which is pretty much essential for success in the Miami area with all the rain they get around game time or during batting practice.
Hoping folks finally come out for Marlins baseball next year. With Hamilton going at 3-2, fouls it off. New stadium will be on the side of the old Orange Bowl. And it will be the smallest stadium in the majors, 36,000 seats. That's more than enough, history says, for Marlins baseball. And when the roof is open, it will be a glittering view of downtown Miami. Beltre strikes out on that changeup, and Sanchez works around the 2-out walk to Josh Hamilton. 0-0 after 1.
Hello, Dave Barnett. Thanks so much. In tonight's Community Corner, we are focusing on Sensational Movements, which is a recreational gymnastics program for special children with special needs. Therapist Diana Connor designed a gym to include balance beams, trampolines, turning bars, and other sensory-based equipment, such as a small pool filled with uncooked beans. Parents say the program has helped their kids improve balance, motor skills, and social skills, leaving them calmer and less stressed. Sensational Movement is located in Plano and currently accepting new students. Sounds like a great program, guys.
It does, Gina. Thanks very much. Here's Hanley Ramirez, who looks at strike one. 13 pitches, 11 strikes. There's just the third ball thrown by Ogando. And Hanley Ramirez has been off his game big time from day one. Even when the Marlins were playing well, he wasn't. He's playing a little bit better since Jack McKeon moved him into the cleanup spot. And he lifts that one right at Nelson Cruz in right field.
Dave, we're going to show Ogando in the first inning. He threw 12 pitches. 6 of them were breaking balls. And watch the quality of the breaking balls. There's an out on a tapper to first base. First pitch strike. Pop up for another out. Strike in the middle of the count. And a slider for strike 3. All 3 outs in the first inning were with his slider. He threw 6 of them, all of them for strikes. And he just got Ramirez to pop up to right field. So all 4 outs have come with his breaking ball. And before the game, not just us, but I think everybody would have said the key for Ogando is be able to master his breaking ball again. And so far, 4 batters, that's what he's done.
Mastered it almost to the point of perfection so far. Logan Morrison gets a fastball, grounds it to Kinsler.
And then you look at the last fastball. What was the difference between that and maybe one of the fastballs that Mark Teixeira hit? It was down, had a little sinking action to it right around the knees. The result, quality fastball, turns into an easy ground ball to second base. Instead of a belt high pitch in the center of the plate that maybe is hit in the air. It really looks like Ogando is more relaxed, more under control, not overthrowing, and maybe got into a bad habit at Yankee Stadium, trying to come back in the second game that he's pitched at Yankee Stadium and master the New York Yankees. Maybe just tried to overdo it and got into some bad habits.
Just missing with the slider there to Mike Stanton, 2-0. Well, this through an inning in 2/3 anyway. As good as we've seen Ogando, and again, just exuding confidence. Every pitch he throws, the ones that have not missed by very much, and that one's right in there at 97.
It's all about the location of his fastball, and he's locating it well. This shouldn't necessarily come as a surprise to anybody, because for 12 starts, this is basically how he pitched.
Throws it right past him, and it's 2-2.
The other thing you have to like about Ogando is through the last 3 starts, he's unflappable. He's not worried about it. He's not hurt. He's not tired. People can come up with any reasons they want. He just says, I don't have any problems. I just have to pitch better. I just have to make better pitches. But I feel fine, and I'm going to just work as hard as I can to get back to where I was.
That one cranked up to 98 miles an hour. This will be just his 23rd pitch.
Stanton already has struck out 84 times. He's on pace for about 160 or 70 strikeouts. He's also hit 16 home runs, and he's just a young player still developing. A lot of people think he'll, as years go on, be right up there at the top of the home run list for year after year.
Reaches out, spoils that one. Stanton just 21. And among the group, and it's a very small group, obviously, major leaguers 21 or younger, he is far and away the leader with 38 home runs. Jason Hayward much more celebrated as 25. And what was that pitch that struck him out? That would be the slider. And another 1-2-3 inning. As he did the first, Ogando ends the second with a swing and a miss at that slider. followed by Nelson Cruz and Mitch Moreland. Sanchez in the first inning. 18 pitches, 10 strikes. He walked Hamilton with 2 outs, then struck out Beltre. Michael comes in with 8-game hitting streak, 429 here at home. He has homered in his last 3 home games and 4 of his last 5. Rangers start play today 1 game ahead of the Angels in the American League West. And the Angels hosting the Dodgers in the second round of the Freeway Series tonight. Kuroda against Chatwood. Seattle at home against San Diego. Mosley against Vargas. Oakland hosting Arizona tonight. And Rich Harden gets his first start of his second go-round with the Oakland A's. Team that cannot keep pitchers healthy. And Rich Harden has not been healthy until just now. Sanchez floats that change a little inside. 3-2 to Michael Young. 5 straight multi-hit games here at the ballpark. And he takes the low fastball, second walk for Sanchez, and this is a guy who averages fewer than 2 walks per start, only 29 and 105 innings, 16 starts before tonight. Here's Nelson Cruz. 4 for his last 21, but still 5th in the American League with 18 home runs. The month of June, 16 extra base hits. Tied for the most in the American League. Average still not where he or the Rangers would ever expect it to be, but reason to believe it will rise in the second half. And he blisters that one just foul past third. Something nice for Nelson Cruz would be, I don't know, 2-run home run right about now. Yeah, he is turning 31 today. Happy birthday, Nelly. Indeed.
And if he wants something nice, he certainly has the finances to go out and get it. We'll take the home run.
And he was gunning for it right there. It appeared. Second strikeout for Anibal Sanchez.
Sanchez had surgery, shoulder surgery, in 2007. In 2007, 8 and 9, he only totaled 160 or 170 innings. Last year was his first full season of being healthy, and he had a really nice season. Winning record, nice ERA, almost 200 innings pitched. He's on track to have a better year this year than he did last year. Probably have over 200 innings, might have over 200 strikeouts.
He has really been through the injury gauntlet. The surgery you mentioned in 07. Before he came up in the Red Sox system, Tommy John surgery back in 2003.
And so he's had surgery to his elbow and his shoulder.
2 years ago, out with the 2 separate sprained shoulder injuries. Finally healthy for the last 2 years. And he pours that one into Mitch Moreland. Sanchez only loss way back in April at Houston. He is 6-1. The people that follow the Marlins say he could easily be 11 or 12-1. They have wasted that many good starts. And it's been something different, especially the month of June. Seemingly every time. They lost 14 straight one-run games until yesterday. They finally ended that streak, winning at Oakland 5-4.
And they had a big lead in that game and had to hang on. I think they were ahead 5-0 in that game and had to hang on. Well, Sanchez, going along with what you're talking about, Dave, in his last 2 starts against Seattle and against the Angels, he's had no decisions. He's given up 1 run in each game. 7 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 1 run. If you can't win giving up 1 run, pretty much shows exactly what you're talking about. There's 2 easy victories with any kind of sport.
Well, he is very concerned about the stolen base abilities of Michael Young. Almost alone in that. It's got to be more throws over with Michael Young at first base than we've seen all season. Now to Moreland. And the foul ball back, and it's 1-2.
A little more juice on that fastball. Most of his fastballs have been 88 to 90. Popped that one in there at 93.
Sanchez from Maracay, Venezuela. Not big, 6 feet 205 pounds. Not big by modern major league pitcher standards. Good free, easy motion. Ball generally pretty hard to pick up, and that foul tip, Buck able to hang on to it. Back-to-back strikeouts.
A fastball with good movement. He's got a terrific changeup, and there's a hard breaking ball. And you can already see with the changeup in that location with his breaking ball why he's got a strikeout per inning. My first minor league roommate, 1967 in Geneva, New York, was a Venezuelan player named Anibal.
Which is why you correctly pronounce Anibal.
Yeah.
Not Annabelle, or I'd even heard Annabelle. That's got to be the worst mispronunciation.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, his name was Anibal Longa, an infielder.
And continues to wear out Michael with the headlong dives back at first.
Oh, good. Maybe he'll wear himself out. Get his pitch count to first base up there.
That ball ripped by Taylor Teagarden into the gap, and that will reach the wall. Young around third. He's headed home, and it's 1-0 Rangers. First RBI this year for Taylor Teagarden.
Well, Taylor can earn playing time when he plays by doing just this. Just get some hits, because he's terrific defensively. He can help shut down the running game with his throwing ability. If he can just increase his contact a little bit, get some base hits, he can work himself into the catching rotation a lot more than he is right now. And that base hit right there won't hurt.
Taylor in just his 6th game, his 5th start after being called up June 12th from Round Rock, gives the Rangers the lead. Here's Endy Chavez. Endy 0 for 2 pinch hitting at Houston, and has predictably come back a little bit. He had to. His last 12 games, 147. His previous 12 games, he was hitting .525. And a foul pop. Bonifacio gives chase. It is 0-2. How about that mask of John Buck? Is there an uglier mask in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I don't like it with the black shirt. Pretty fancy. They got a nice marlin on it, but I guess beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I'm kind of on board with you on that one. Yogi Berra never wore it. Probably wished he did sometimes, though. It's got great protection. The thing about that helmet that makes it much safer than a lot of helmets is the way it comes down lower on the chin, which protects your neck a lot, and then the back of it that has a hard back to that helmet, which you don't see on a lot of on the other kind of helmets. So that's much more protection if you get hit by a backswing.
Ground ball to the left of Infante, and he handles the third out, but the Rangers jump out in front on the RBI double by Taylor Teagarden, 1-0 after 2. By Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com today. Toyota, moving forward. And by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Alexi Ogando in the first 2 innings, 6 up and 6 down. He has struck out Gabby Sanchez in the first, Mike Stanton in the second for the 3rd out in each case. 25 pitches, 19 strikes. Fastballs, sliders, all pretty much right on the dot so far. And he's got the DH, Greg Dobbs, then the catcher Buck, and the center fielder Dwayne Wise here in the 3rd. Dobbs at 300, the leading hitter in terms of average on the Marlins. But it's a pretty empty 300 from this standpoint. About a month ago, his slugging percentage was .485. Since June 3rd, he has 1 extra base hit in 22 games, a double. And hitting or slugging just .219 in that span, has not driven in a run. So an instance where the batting average only tells a very slim part of the story for Dobbs. And he's quickly behind 0-2. Dobbs, one of the elder Marlins. He will turn 33 tomorrow. Originally signed with the Mariners 2001 out of OU as a 5th-year senior. Because he was a 5th-year senior, he was eligible to sign before the draft. Having trouble just getting the ball in play lately. But doesn't climb the ladder at 96, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Dobbs, while he was at Oklahoma, roomed with Jason Bartlett. And another strikeout.
A well-located fastball right there. Right in on the fists. Ogando has thrown a lot of breaking balls, but Dobbs saw all fastballs. He was a little late on the fastball, and Teagarden kept calling it. Unless the hitter shows that he's going to be able to get out in front of one of those fastballs, you really can't go wrong, especially when you throw it right in there.
Here's John Buck having a very disappointing year at .217, and he takes it at 97. He has been strikeout prone as well. Good day yesterday though at Oakland. 2 for 4, a double, drove in 2 runs in their 5-4 victory. Big part of their 4-run 5th when they chased Trevor Cahill.
Now, Buck had his best year last year with Toronto. He hit 280 and 20 home runs. Best years as far as the power numbers. Best year. Look at the bruise he's got on his arm. He must have gotten drilled by a fastball. Thought it was a tattoo at first.
Waves at another Ogando slider. 3 straight strikeouts for Alexi.
I think if Mike Maddox detailed a game plan for Ogando today, what he wanted to see, Ogando has pretty much nailed it through 8 hitters.
He has struck out half of them, all swinging. And he gets ahead of Dwayne Wise, the veteran center fielder, in an 0 for 14 slump. Just up from AAA New Orleans, June 17th. And he's quickly down 0-2. Wise at age 33 has really bounced around, and even just this year. In camp with the Marlins, they released him in March. Now they brought him back, and he strikes out. And it's a 4 straight strikeout run for Ogando. He strikes out the side, all swinging in the 3rd.
This ball looked like it dropped right off a table.
Hamilton against Sanchez after a near perfect bottom of the 3rd for Alexi Ogando. He struck out the side on 11 pitches, 10 of which were strikes.
Well, that last slider, that was the slider that it looks like he takes a little off. It looks more like a curveball, went straight down.
One and 2 to Kinsler, our Ford leaderboard tonight. We focus on extra base hits. And in interleague play since 06, Kinsler is 4th in that group. Adrian Beltre 2nd, chasing only Miguel Cabrera. Tied with A-Rod. 2 and 2 to Kinsler. He flied to left on the first pitch of the game, sees a few more pitches here, and sends that one deep, but it hooks foul just past the foul pole down there.
That had just enough distance, but not quite enough direction. Big guy's happy with that one. Did he get it in the air? Sure does. protect his wife. If he didn't catch that, would have come down right in her lap.
Wearing a Kinsler jersey. Breaking ball misses, and a full count now for Ian. His holiday weekend is made. Already 3 walks issued by Sanchez. Let's check in again with Gina Miller.
Hey, Dave, anybody who knows anything about Rangers pitcher C.J. Wilson knows that he has a variety of interests, one of them being auto racing, and you can find out a little bit more about that tomorrow. Stop by the home plate entrance outside Rangers Ballpark on Saturday for an up-close tour of C.J.'s racing team's trailer and car, as well as Mazda's racing team's car, hosted by C.J. Wilson's Children's Charity Foundation. Fans can also purchase C.J. Wilson T-shirts, wristbands, and racing T-shirts that will also benefit C.J.'s charity. For more information, just visit leftylefty.com. Easy enough, guys.
Yeah, and Gina, whenever C.J. Wilson's career is over, he's one guy that you really can't predict where he will end up. He's interested in film, television, screenwriting, things of that nature, but also very much into racing. You may figure out.
Sounds like a movie about racing.
There you go.
Starring C.J. Wilson.
Perfect. It's all mapped out. That was easy. Kinsler aboard. And the 0-1 pitch to Andrus. Could be 2. Infante. And they only get the out at a good slide. Kinsler absolutely tying Hanley Ramirez in knots.
Not a real hard hit ball. Actually a pretty good job by Infante to get the lead runner.
All Ramirez could do is just try not to land too hard on Ian. So Elvis aboard with 1 out for Hamilton, who walked his first time up. First of 3 already issued by Sanchez. Two more that he had at his last 2 starts combined, covering 13 innings. Broken bat, base hit. Wow. Will send Andrus around to third. And the Rangers have runners on the corners.
Boy, Sanchez at first base made a try for the ball, and that bat, like a spear, was headed right in his direction. It's a dangerous little thing right there. Sanchez is going to go for this ball. It's not that far away from him, really. A good shot at it right here. Now he realizes the bat's coming at him, too.
Almost landed to point down like a javelin.
Yeah.
So Josh reaches for the second time. Second Ranger hit. Brings up Beltre, who struck out to end the first. 5 straight at bats now. He has ended an inning. And a home run cut fouled off to the right. That Ranger run in the second inning. Their first since the 3rd inning on Wednesday. The second of the 3 games in Houston on the Ian Kinsler home run. His second that game and his 3rd in his midi at bats coming against Brett Myers. But they were completely shut down for the rest of that game. Able to hold on to win it. Shut out yesterday. The run in the second delivered by Taylor Teagarden's 2-out RBI double, and a chance here for Beltre to add further to the lead. Fans a little impatient now with Sanchez and the amount of attention he's paying to the base runners, but especially for a right-handed pitcher, he's probably as good as they have at holding runners on the base path. That's a little base hit dumped out to center field to bring Andrus home. Hamilton scrambling in safe at third, and it's 2-0.
Well, that's just a nice little turn of events right there. You've got a strikeout pitcher ahead of Beltre, who he's already struck out once. No balls and 2 strikes. Beltre reaches and lines the ball into center field, And Hamilton, a great example of aggressive base running, doesn't just stop at second base. He challenges the center fielder, Dwayne Wise, who makes a decent throw. Now they've just traded places. First and third, still one out for Michael. On a nice job of 0-2 hitting by Beltre.
Tom, the key being he was just looking for contact that time. He abandoned the home run stroke.
Well, I think that's true, and I think the other key is he's already seen the changeup. He struck out on it the first time up, so he saw all of Sanchez's pitches in the first at bat. And as a veteran hitter, that gives you a little bit of an advantage the next time around.
So here's Young, who scored the first Ranger run after a leadoff walk in the second, ending 16 straight scoreless innings for the Rangers. Now runs in back-to-back innings. Chance for more with only one out at a first pitch pop-up.
Well, Michael got a good pitch for him to drive to right field. He just got underneath it.
Infante out short right for the catch. 2 gone for Cruz. First time up, struck out. Sanchez about to throw his 52nd pitch. 33 strikes against 18 balls. He's had some very high walk games. 6-1. 4 walks in another couple of games.
He must not have walked anybody after those 3 games.
Yeah, and then he's had 1, 2, 4 games with no walks. 5 with 1 walk. A little bit all or nothing with him. 3 walks so far, 1 of which is scored. Rangers have all 3 hits in the game, 2 of them back-to-back by Hamilton and Beltre here in the third. And 0-2 to Cruz again. Nelly, a lot of homers, 18, 5th in the league, but a lot of strikeouts, up to 72, and that's also top 10 in the American League. And even Beltre getting attention at first. Cruz puts a charge into that one. Way back in right field. Gone over the bullpen. A 3-run shot, and it's 5-0.
Not back-to-back. 2 out of the last 3 hitters, Beltre and Cruz, no balls and 2 strikes. Looked like Sanchez tried to sneak a fastball by him on the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. It goes over the Ranger bullpen. That's how strong Nelly is. He's trying to make contact, no balls and 2 strikes, and the ball just jumped off his bat 410, 15 feet over the Ranger bullpen. No ball, 2 strike hits.
And there is his best birthday present possible.
That's what we wanted. Can't believe we didn't make the call after we said that.
Strike 1 to Moreland.
Trying to throw a ball. You could see Buck flash his glove high, but he never got it high enough. He got it outside, but I don't think he got it as high as Buck wanted that pitch.
Tom, you said 410, 415 feet. How about 412? That is the official reading.
Just about right.
4th homer in his last 6 games for Cruz. Here in Arlington. Number 19 on the year. And a breaking ball bounce back to Sanchez. That'll end a big 4-run Ranger third. Beltre an RBI single, then the 3-run blasts off the boomstick, and it's 5-0. at tonight's AT&T Trivia question. Who was the winning pitcher in the Marlins' inaugural game back on April 5th, 1993? Didn't take that team very long to have a lot of high-priced talent. Won the 97 World Series over the highly favored Cleveland Indians. Do it again 6 years later over the Yankees. Josh Beckett throwing a shutout for the ages to finish that one off. We only have one umpire on the field. The other three have been the Rangers dugout. We are not sure why, but that's the reason for this delay before the fourth inning. And here they come. Might have just been getting some fluids.
Sometimes people don't like to go to the bathroom by themselves. They like someone to come with them.
I don't usually find that males fit that description.
No, I don't either. And that's probably not what happened either. Sorry, guys.
Well, what a first 3 innings for Alexi Ogando. He comes in with a streak of 4 straight strikeouts. He struck out the side in the third on 11 pitches. You can go a whole season and have a hard time finding an inning like that. 11 pitches, 10 strikes. All 5 of his strikeouts have been swinging. And he starts Bonifacio second time through the order with the strike. Emilio grounded to first on the second pitch of the game.
Want to wish Robbie Ebensberger a happy birthday. She won't tell us how old she is. Probably about 25 or 26. But happy birthday, Robbie. Also want to thank Martin and Melissa Sines from Fort Worth for the cinnamon pecan brittle. And also Marlo Mariak and Rita Hantman for the coconut and nut cookies. Thought we were going to get shut out tonight, but right at the end, we got the cinnamon pecan brittle and the coconut cookies, so we're in good shape.
2-2 to Bonifacio. This is only the second time that Ogando has thrown as many as 2 balls to a Marlin hitter. He struck out Stanton at 2-2 to end the second. Bonifacio, 26, from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And the first 3-ball count, first full count for Ogando. And if you get Bonifacio on, you have to deal with his speed, although he has not been hitting lately. Comes right at him with heat, and he grounds it to Andrews, who has to get rid of it in the blink of an eye to make sure Bonifacio doesn't beat that out. And he very nearly did. He can get down the line 3.6, 3.7 seconds.
And that's one thing as an infielder, you know, so you don't lay back and field the ground ball and take your time when he's running. You charge it and you throw on the run if you have to. And with his speed, he makes it a pretty close play.
So 10 up and 10 down. Here's Infante. And a little looper caught by Kinsler. And Infante has now popped up twice. First time to Beltre, now to Ian. After the longest at bat by a Marlin, the fastest for the second out here in the fourth. And that will bring up the first baseman Gabby Sanchez, who struck out to end the first inning. .44 pitches now, 34 for strikes. As impressive as that is, that just shows how from another planet Colby Lewis was the other night. 61 pitches, 51 for strikes.
Boy, there's a quality fastball. So much difference between the game tonight and a couple of his last 3 as far as location of the fastball goes. Instead of anywhere near the middle of the plate, there it is, right on the outside corner, right down at the knees. And just a difficult pitch to hit when you locate it there. A pretty nice job by Sanchez to lay off that slider. Struck out on the same pitch the first time up. Maybe that helped him lay off at that time.
Just his 11th ball on the appeal at first. Joe West confirming he didn't go around. Sanchez, a Miami native out of Brito High School and the University of Miami. 4th round pick 2005. Used to go to Marlins games with his dad beginning in 1993. And that is a foul ball.
Just barely. Came down and stopped right before it got to the foul line. A lot of people think it matters where the ball hits the ground on a foul ball. You'll even see some players sometimes say, hey, that ball hit behind home plate. It makes no difference where the ball hits the ground. It's where it ends up. If it ends up in fair territory, it doesn't matter. Yes, you did.
He went around that time, and Teagarden, for good measure, applies the tag. That is 12 up and 12 down, 6 on strikes, all swinging strikeouts. What a start for Alexi Ogando. The winning pitcher in the very first Florida Marlins game, April 5th, 1993, was Charlie Huff, beating one of his former teams, the Dodgers, 6-3. I'm assuming you knew that.
I've heard that question before. I'm terrible at trivia, so if I had not heard that question before, I would not have had any idea.
Taylor Teagarden delivered the first Ranger run in 16 innings. With a double scoring Michael Young in the second inning. This pop-up tracked down the right field line, and off the glove of Stanton, Teagarden again is at second base.
Well, it was a long run for Stanton, but he got to the ball and then just didn't catch it. Sometimes you get running like that, your head's moving, the ball's bouncing around, you just don't get a good look at it. That could go as a base hit depending on how the scorer sees it.
Our official score tonight is Will Rudd, and he is still mulling it over. But could go as Teagarden's second straight double. Brings up Andy Chavez, who grounded to second. Teagarden's first double tonight, his first extra base hit of the year. Still no ruling on this one. But outside to Chavez, that's 2 balls and no strikes. Chavez then back to the top of the order, Ian Kinsler. Rangers up 5-0, a 4-run third, keyed by a 3-run home run by Nelson Cruz. Sanchez continuing to work away to Chavez, and now behind 3 balls and no strikes. Strike one down the middle at 90. Good start tonight for a Ranger team that lost its last 2 home games over the weekend to the Mets. Last time they've lost more than back-to-back at home was the 4-game sweep by Baltimore last year entering the All-Star break. 3-2 to Chavez. Since the Rangers won the first 7 home games this year, they are a 500 team here at the ballpark, 16-16.
Taylor got a double on that ball, didn't he? Did they give him a double?
Yes, they finally did. Back-to-back doubles. Chavez pops one just down below us a little bit to stay alive. So Taylor Teagarden starting for the first time in 5 days, backing Ogando with 2 extra base hits.
Well, you know, like we said earlier, if Taylor swings the bat, he'll get a lot more playing time. It's hot. I know Ron Washington would love to give Torey Alba as many days off as he can.
Backhand pick by Infante. Not in time. Chavez beats it out. First and third, nobody out in the Ranger fourth for Kinsler.
It looked like Infante was going to be able to make that play. He got to it, but then it looked like it took him a little bit too long to get rid of the ball. He couldn't get a grip on the ball, and then when he threw it, he didn't get much on it with that bad grip. Watch him try to maneuver the ball in his hand. And he's not going to get much on it running towards center field anyway. But Chavez just was able to beat that ball out.
Infante does not miss many plays. Top fielding second baseman in the National League.
Yeah, it was a nice try. Not an easy play.
Kinsler's fly to left and walks.
That's
one of first pitch strike.
That's one of Ian's specialties, that play. He's got the quickness, the agility, and the arm strength to make that play most of the time.
Not as well as anybody at this point, wouldn't you say?
I'd say he's right up there for sure. And we don't see the National League, so it's hard to compare all those guys.
Wise getting a little bit of a late start out in center, but high enough that he gets there for the first out. And here are the Texans Academy runs for kids, and the Taylor Teagarden second inning double, scoring young, who had led with a walk. Then in the third, a Beltray blue, bringing home Elvis Andrus. Cruz, 2 batters later, 412 feet over the bullpen, 3-run shot to make it 5-0. Right off the car, not the kid.
They called that ball the Beltray hit a changeup. It looked more like a slider. But an off-speed pitch that he struck out on the first time was a changeup. And he was able to wait on an off-speed pitch. No balls and 2 strikes. It was a pretty good pitch, too. I think Sanchez was pretty happy with the location of that ball.
Well, now Elvis trying to deliver the runner from third in less than 2 outs. Fly to right, reached on a fielder's choice. Turn that trip into a run. Over the last 43 games, he is the top Ranger hitter in terms of average, .301. Chavez is going, and the throw late and a little bit offline by John Buck. And the Rangers now out of the double play with 2 in scoring position.
Pretty good jump. Not a terrible throw, but that one was stolen before Buck ever let go of the ball.
Fourth of the year for Indy. Second base, Teagard now at third with one out. Base hit, and it's a 7-run lead.
Whoa,
and that one right under the chin.
That'll definitely catch your attention right there. Did you say Sanchez is from Maracay, Venezuela?
Yes.
He and Elvis probably know each other there.
Elvis Andrus country.
Not sure if they play on the same winter ball team or not.
Marlins play the infield in, trying to keep this a 5-run game. Elvis not expecting that pitch, and it's in there to make it 2-2.
Breaking ball for a strike. Say he's going to make a mistake if he throws that exact same pitch this time. Elvis will be ready after seeing it once.
Well, gets him on the fastball. Foul tip. Buck hangs on.
Good sinking fastball right where he wanted to throw.
Fourth strikeout for Sanchez. They have all been swinging. And 2 big outs after the first 2 reach on the double, the infield hit.
Yeah, you wouldn't think with Ian and Elvis both coming up that Sanchez could pitch out of that jam. And he hasn't pitched out of it yet. He's got to get Beltre now when the base is loaded.
First base open. Jack McKeon says no way we deal with Josh Hamilton here, who singled his last time up. So this will be the 4th walk for Sanchez, who had only 29 in his first 16 starts before tonight. Well, he really likes throwing to the bases. I can't remember ever seeing an intentional walk interrupted by a throw to third with the catcher over there.
You can probably also count on one hand whether it's an intentional walk or not. How many times a pitcher will throw a pickoff play to third base? You don't see it very often. But he was just hoping to catch him napping over there. Maybe get lucky and get out of the inning.
And that was Brian Sanchez, one of the 3 Marlins Sanchez's, although Brian spells it with an S on the end, so he's warming up. We may see him if Beltre gets hold of one here. He singled in a run his last time up, reaching out to loop one out to center field. First time up, he struck out. Again, Sanchez missing high.
Yeah, he's going to throw somewhere around 80 pitches in 4 innings.
Five runs on 6 hits, 3 for extra bases. And there's one down the right field line to score Teagarden and Chavez. Hamilton held it third. It's a double for Beltre, and it's a 7-0 Ranger lead.
Well, not hit all that hard, but it didn't have to be. There's a big hole between Sanchez and first base. And all Adrian did is hit a ground ball right in that direction. Pick up a couple of runs. And pretty good pitch away. Adrian goes the other way with the pitch, drives it on the ground, picks up 2 more RBIs. 3 for him in the game. He's up to 60.
And a rare early shower for Audibal Sanchez after just 3 2/3 innings. This is shortest outing of the year, and he turns over a 7-0 deficit to Brian Sanchez. this year, and that is chase Anibal Sanchez before the 4th inning is out. And they have chased him with 7 runs on 7 base hits. The 2-run double by Beltre, the last straw for Jack McKeon, and he brings in Brian Sanchez, Beaumont native, Nederland High School product, Lamar University product, still makes his home in Nederland.
Yeah, he's been tough to hit. Opponent's batting average is only 192. You want to nitpick a little bit, he's probably got a few too many walks, but he's got a lot of strikeouts, doesn't give up many home runs. Having a nice year out of the bullpen.
A long man who made a spot start, first career start, May 28th, in his 167th career appearance. And Michael Young grounds the first pitch from him to Ramirez. Barely throws him out in time.
Almost played that into an RBI single.
Brian Sanchez does the job, but the Rangers 2 more runs on 3 base hits. The big run, the 2-run double by Beltre, and through 4 it is 7-0. '21 is brought to you by Sports City Toyota. Come see us at sportscitytoyota.com. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve. Crowd expected around 34,000 tonight at the ballpark. First of 3 against the Marlins, and it's all Rangers 7-0. And after a pretty long break in the dugout, Alexi Ogando out for the 5th inning. He has retired the first 12 Marlins, half of whom he has struck out swinging.
He's gotten 12 outs in the game. 9 of them have come on a slider. 9 of the 12 outs were with his slider. 3 on fastballs. There hasn't been anything remotely resembling a hard hit ball. You'd have to call Logan Morrison's ground ball to second the hardest hit ball yet. And that was just a sinker that he hit a average little grounder to second.
In fact, there's only been 1 ball out of the infield. That was first time up for Ramirez. He flied out to Cruz in right field.
Yeah, and that was just a little blooper that Cruz actually came in for, so it wasn't driven to the outfield at all.
Angel Campos behind the plate through 4 innings had called 38 strikes on 49 pitches. Just the 3rd time for Ogando to throw as many as 2 balls. Went to 3 balls only to Bonifacio 2nd time, and now 3-1 to Ramirez. He'll be followed by Morrison and Stanton here in the 5th.
That looked like one of those fastballs he might have tried to overthrow a little bit. Yanked it right into the ground. For the most part today, he's looked very relaxed out there. Nice and easy. Popping the ball in there, 94 to 96.
So after taking a moment, his 3-1 pitch popped foul. Hanley Ramirez hitting just .220, but just 2 years ago he was the National League batting champ at .342. Was the 4th National League shortstop ever to win the batting crown. And sends that one into the club seats. This year his biggest drop-off is against right-handed pitchers, and he's been a career .313 hitter against righties. This year that's down to .195. He's still hitting lefties at a .326 clip. And they have their first base runner, as Campos says that fastball was low for ball 4.
That could have been a strike, borderline pitch. Generally, that kind of a pitch right there will touch the bottom part of the strike zone, and it did. But as we say so many times, very seldom is that called a strike.
So Ogando perfect through 4. Leadoff walk to Hanley Ramirez to begin the 5th, and here is Logan Morrison, who grounded pretty sharply to Kinsler his first time up. Strike 1 right away with a fastball. Morrison yesterday at Oakland, 2 hits, a double, drove in a run. His previous 15 games he hit just .148. And a pop up here for Beltre. Barely has to move a muscle for this one. Just a little half step to his left for the first out of the 5th inning.
Got that one way inside on him and jammed him for a little blooper. Well located fastball. We've been saying that the whole game. Well located slider, well located fastball. When he's missed, he hasn't missed near the middle of the plate. And a couple of times when he has hit the middle of the plate with his fastball, it's been after showing some really good sliders to where the hitter just wasn't ready for the fastball anyway. Get away with those fastballs when you're throwing a good slider like he's been throwing.
Mike Stanton struck out swinging to end the 2nd inning. 16 home runs. Most in their lineup. 44 runs batted in. 1 less than Gabby Sanchez. And a line drive to center field, but Endy Chavez has that one played just right for the 2nd out.
Well, we finally have our first hard hit ball. That was a bullet right there by Stanton. Fortunately, he didn't elevate it very much, and it was hit right at Chavez.
That's just what Mike Stanton does, though. He hits everything hard, ground balls included. He has had some ground doubles to the left of third baseman this year. But that one, Chavez only had to back up a couple of steps. So Ramirez still at first, 2 outs now, and here's the DH Greg Dobbs. He struck out to begin the 3rd.
Yeah, I would say if you're the third baseman, you're not real comfortable playing in or even with a bag when Stanton's up there. You want to be as far back as you can.
A bluff by Ramirez and a foul pop. Beltre gives chase, runs out of room. Up to this point, Dobbs' best success has been as a pinch hitter. Learned that craft from Dave Hansen, one of the all-time best. They were teammates a couple of years in Seattle. Hansen pitch hit 702 times in a 15-year career. But in the AL Park, chance for Dobbs to DH. Rooming with Jason Bartlett at OU. Bartlett says, I think of Dauber, I think of 2 things. He loves to eat and he loves to talk hitting. So all they did in that room. And there is the first Marlin base hit. That will be chased into the corner off the wall by Cruz. Ramirez held at third base, and it's a 2-out double here in the fifth by Greg Dobbs.
Good job by Nelly. He was sprinting after that ball to make sure the runner from first couldn't score. The fans recognize that pitch fairly deep into the game without giving up a base hit.
He got one right down the middle, belt high, and did not miss it. So 4 2/3 it takes for the Marlins to get their first hit. Now they've got 2 in scoring position with 2 outs for John Buck. Buck strikeout in the third inning when Ogando struck out the side on 11 pitches. A lot of them like that one. One of Buck's struggles this year, there are 2 outs here, but with the man at third and less than 2 outs, he has come through only 3 times in 19 opportunities. Just not catching up to anything.
That's not good. You could expect maybe 3 for 19 for some guys with man on third base and 2 outs, but less than 2 outs. That's, you don't have to do a whole lot to get the runner in from third base with less than 2 outs.
Dobbs was able to catch up to that pitch, not Buck so far.
You be careful. That was a hanger right there. Got away with one. But again, if you're throwing fastballs at 96, putting them where you want them, then the hitter's not quite as ready for your other pitch. Jim McTighe has a birthday today as well. Nelly Cruz has a birthday. Jim McTighe. Jim is the dad of Mike McTighe, our tape operator. Happy birthday, Jim.
Crowd rising behind Alexi. Buck not chasing that one at 97, 1-2. Only the 18th ball in 68 pitches from Ogando through 4 2/3. If Buck reaches, Dwayne Wise, the center fielder, would be next. Marlins all time against the Rangers just 4-8, including the 3-game Rangers sweep in Miami last June. Kanan hoping for a rare 3-game win streak tonight. But Buck waves at strike 3, 7th strikeout for Ogando. Finally gave up a base runner and a base hit in the 5th, but he keeps his shutout as he gets Buck with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Rangers baseball on TXA 21 is brought to you by Toyota. Visit viatoyota.com today. Toyota, moving forward. We move forward to the bottom of the fifth inning with Brian Sanchez having taken over for Anibal Sanchez and got the final out of the fourth on one pitch, getting Michael Young to ground out. Cruz, the big blow in this one, a 3-run home run in the third, and he goes after the first pitch and pops it back out of play. Only on his 31st birthday today, his 19th home run, up to 46 runs batted in now. In terms of home run frequency, he is third in the league. Gets a homer a little more than every 13 at-bats. Good pitch to hit there, but he got under it. Now to short right field for Mike Stanton. Join the Rangers on a VIP road trip to Boston Labor Day weekend. Enjoy great seats, a VIP tour of Fenway Park, including the chance to get behind the Green Monster, hotel accommodations, and the opportunity to meet a current Rangers player. For more information, visit TexasRangers.com/road trips. Boy, as road trips go, that you can't get a whole lot better than that. Just to get tickets at Fenway Park, that's a major accomplishment. Mitch Moreland has struck out and bounced to the mound. It's a good curve from Sanchez. Brian Sanchez at Nederland High School, 3 no-hitters before moving on to Lamar University in Beaumont. From there, he was a second-round pick in the '99 draft by Kansas City. Made his major league debut with the Phillies in '06. 18 games, 12 more the next year, before moving on to Washington in '08. A Marlins since '09. He's been very solid with them. 4-2, 2.56 ERA. '09 last year, 2-2, a 2.26 earned run average and 61 outings. Came to Florida as a minor league free agent. One of their better pickups of the last several years. Anibal Sanchez's 3 2/3 tonight, his shortest start since August 27th of '09. He also went 3.2 against the Mets on that occasion. 3 2/3 tonight, 7 runs on 7 hits, struck out 4, walked 4, one of which was intentional. 79 pitches, 51 for strikes. Brian Sanchez on since the last out of the fourth. And Moreland works the count full. Mitch and then Taylor Teagarden. He was having a big night. 2 doubles, has scored a run, driven in a run. Mitch Moreland gets hold of that one deep to right center field. Wise is back. He's got room on the track.
Boy, say it all the time on balls like that, but he just missed that one. That had 405 feet of hang time on it. That thing was way up there. A good pitch to hit. Good swing at it. Just gets underneath it a little bit. And the wrong part of the ballpark.
Yeah, it looked like he knew it too, just as he was tossing that bat aside.
He knew he didn't get it all, and he's probably hoping maybe the wind will help him out, but on really high ones like that, doesn't help out quite as much.
So here is Teagarden with his first 2 extra base hits of the season. Just his 6th game, 5th start up from AAA Round Rock, June 12th. Doubled in the first, Ranger run in the second. Led off the 2-run fourth with another double. And now behind, no balls and 2 strikes. This game beginning a 10-game homestand for the Rangers. It was originally 9. It's 10 because there's a makeup game of the game that was rained out against Oakland. That's going to be on Thursday. And it's starting well, although Teagarden looks at strike 3, and Brian Sanchez has come in and retired all 4 batters he has faced. We're through 5. It's 7-0 Rangers. Park, where the Rangers host the Orioles on Monday, July 4th. The best fireworks show in Texas follows the game, presented by Disney's Captain America. Tickets are still available at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. So still a chance to come out and enjoy everything that goes into baseball on the 4th of July. 7 o'clock start, followed by the fireworks. Fireworks in the second, third, and fourth innings by the Ranger batters, building a 7-0 lead in this one. And out for the 6th inning, Ogando will face Wise, and then the top of the order, Bonifacio and Infante. Dwayne Wise struck out to end the 3rd to complete Ogando's best inning, striking out the side. He had a run of 4 straight strikeouts at that point. He's ended each of the first 5 innings with strikeouts. 7 for the game, all swinging. So, Tom, he's not fooling anybody. He's out there to show you what he's got and see who can deal with it. And so far, only Greg Dobbs has with his double in the 5th.
Yeah, Dobbs had a nice swing at a fastball. Second ball hit hard by the Marlins. 6 of the 7 strikeouts have been with his slider. That's been a strikeout pitch. That looked like a changeup. That's nice to see.
Andy Chavez under that one. Let's check in with Gina Miller.
Thanks so much, Dave. Monday, of course, is July 4th, but the Rangers are celebrating the holiday all weekend long. Tonight, as usual, Friday night fireworks after the game, and then Sunday night, the Rangers host the Marlins at 7:05, and the first 10,000 kids, 13 and under, will receive this, a white replica Ian Kinsler jersey. It's brought to you by the fine folks at Dr. Pepper and Tom Thumb. Now, you can get tickets to the game by going to TexasRangers.com or calling 972-RANGERS. But these lucky kids, the members of the Irving Diablos Little League baseball team, are going to get a chance to win one tonight. One of them will, but they got to work for it. You guys ready? Yeah! 1, you got to give me a Go Rangers, and a good one. The best Go Rangers gets the jersey. 1, 2, 3. Go Rangers!
Whoa.
Oh my, I haven't been able to pick a winner, so I'm just going to have them catch it like a foul ball. Get it, guys? No fighting, but I think I picked a winner. We'll send it back to you.
We may have to come back and see who wins that battle there. That's a battle royale. That may be still going on.
It is a battle.
That may be going on after tonight's post-game fireworks show.
And the coaches say, thank you very much, Gina.
I did.
No, we have a winner, number 45.
Number 45,
well
yes, Derek Holland.
2-1 pitch to Bonifacio. He fouls that one back. He's put it in play both times, grounded to first and short. Bonifacio, really a super utility guy who's been a starter most of the year. This is 62nd start at 6 different positions. 7th time he started at third, and he grounds it to third. Beltre gobbles it up. 2 gone in the Marlins 6th.
Yeah, Lexi's still under 80 pitches. First 12 starts, he averaged around 15 pitches per inning. His pitch count has been up in his last 3 starts for a lot of reasons. I think he's made some bad pitches with his fastball that has allowed the other team to hit the fastball. He's missed with his breaking ball. There's been some errors made behind him that have prolonged innings, and he's averaged 24 pitches per inning in his last 3 starts. He's really had to work, but he's right back where he has been for most of the season tonight.
Ground ball toward the hole, backhand jump throw, Andrews. It is not in time, and the Marlins have their second base hit. Omar Infante reaches on the infield single.
Elvis, I'm sure, is disappointed he didn't get a chance to pull off the Derek Jeter play. Jeter is a player that Elvis admires, and Jeter has kind of popularized that play over his 15 or 16 years in the big leagues.
I'd have done it if it was Gabby Sanchez running and not Omar Infante.
Yeah, would have had a shot.
Sanchez has struck out twice, ending the first and the fourth. So we'll see if Ogando can keep his streak alive of having ended every inning with a strikeout. One pitch away again.
He's thrown some really good sliders to Sanchez. Sanchez has been their best hitter this year. He's gotten behind in the count and hasn't been able to come up with contact. And a lot of hitters wouldn't with the sliders that Ogando has thrown to him. High fastball. He didn't even have to wait for the umpire to call that one.
That's a hat trick for Sanchez. That's 8 strikeouts for Ogando. All swinging. He has ended all 6 innings with a K, and it's still 7-0. Drive-In tonight. Jackpot worth $2,600 plus dinner for two to Sonic Drive-In. And tonight the Rangers are hitting for Liz Stagner from Ennis. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning, Liz Stagner from Ennis will win $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. It's Chavez, Kinsler, and Andrews against Brian Sanchez, who has retired all 4 Rangers he has faced. Defensive changes for the Marlins, including a new catcher, Brett Hayes, who takes over for John Buck. Bonifacio has moved from third base out to center field. Wes Helms now manning third base. Chavez sends that one out to left field. It hangs up enough for Logan Morrison. Indy 1 for 3. 5 up, 5 down since Brian Sanchez replaced Anibal Sanchez. And here's Kinsler. 0 for 2. He's flied to left and center. In between, he walked. This would be, barring a miraculous comeback by the Marlins, only the second loss of the year for Anibal Sanchez, and his first since April. They would both happen here in Texas. His first one at Minute Maid Park against the Astros, who, by the way, are handling the Boston Red Sox in the top half of the 7th inning down there tonight, 5-1. Keeping it going after their shutout of the Rangers last night. Oh, and 2 to Kinsler. Bud Norris 2 hitting Boston through 6 for the Astros. One and 2 to Kinsler. Ian knows what it is to make an all-star team, and Ron Washington very soon will know what it is to manage an all-star team as manager of the reigning American League champions, and it's now going to be decision time for him.
Yeah, one of the dilemmas Ron will face is every team has to have an all-star representative, and he may have some people in mind, might have some Rangers in mind, well deserving, but for instance, if he has an outfielder in mind, but another team's all-star rep, the only one they have is an outfielder, then they pretty much have to take that outfielder from another team, and it might keep him from choosing the player he wanted to choose.
Stanton handles that line drive. Wash today talking about filling out his all-star roster, says it's not been difficult. He says it's exciting. It's an honor. He will do that with in mind that he wants to have the best possible roster for the American League to win. And he can't be too biased, but deserving Rangers will be on that team. Just a matter of how many spots there will be.
You look at the Orioles, and they probably have a couple of candidates. J.J. Hardy's a pretty good candidate at shortstop. Adam Jones, pretty good candidate as a center fielder. But they have to have somebody. It probably would be one of those two guys.
Do you think that's still viable for the all-star team with, you know, so many franchises that have been added to baseball over the years? Do you think everyone still deserves a player?
I think there's enough teams to where it makes it very difficult, but it's always been a baseball tradition to do that. So I'm kind of torn. Part of me says no, because it keeps some more deserving players from being on the team. But in keeping with the tradition that baseball has had for such a long time, I don't have a big problem staying with it either. I mean, occasionally you'll get a guy that just should absolutely not be on an all-star team, on a poor team that just doesn't have anybody having a good half season. Doesn't happen a lot, but frequently you'll see some really good players having good years that can't make the team because there's no position left because of that situation. I think the home team should definitely have a representative.
3-2 to Elvis. And of course, it's no small thing to Wash to want to win that game, because he had to deal with the fact that the American League lost and San Francisco had, as a result, home field advantage for the World Series. Something that I think should go away. I think that's just silly. That's way too much impact to decide a champion from an exhibition game. First base runner against Brian Sanchez. Andrews, a 2-out walk here in the 6th. That brings up Josh Hamilton.
I think they're just trying to come up with a way to create interest in the All-Star game. And the reality of a baseball All-Star game is it's the only All-Star game that can resemble a regular season game. You can play an All-Star game exactly like you play a regular game. The pitcher can throw as well as he can. The base runners can steal bases, break up double plays. The hitters can try to hit the ball as hard as they can. Everybody can play at peak performance in a baseball All-Star game. You never see that in football. In fact, I don't know anyone that even watches the Pro Bowl. And in basketball, it's 148 to 135. The game doesn't resemble a regular season game.
It used to, though.
Well, it doesn't anymore.
No, that's unfortunately been lost.
You don't see any checking in a hockey All-Star game. So, the other 3 major sports, the All-Star games don't even resemble a regular game. But in baseball, it does.
If it didn't in baseball, the game would never end. If there was no emphasis on defense or pitching.
Well, the thing is, if you played a baseball game like they play those other All-Star games, it wouldn't even be a game you'd want to watch.
That could be trouble if it is fair, and it's right on the line. Fair ball for Hamilton. Andrews coming home. He will score, and it's 8-0. A bloop double on the line for Josh Hamilton's 37th run batted in.
We'll take that one. In baseball, a player trying to go out maximum effort on any one play doesn't take away from anybody else. In other words, a defensive player who wants to make a highlight reel after the All-Star game can dive for a ball, make the greatest play he can possibly make. A hitter can bunt, he can steal a base, he can hit a long home run. In basketball, you just don't see the defense playing the same kind of defense that they do during a regular season game. You see many more uncontested shots, more dunks. No one's going to go up and try to slam some guy that's trying to dunk.
Beltre sends that one deep into the gap in right center. Running. Stanton can't bring it in. Hamilton will score. Beltre's thinking about 3 and puts on the brakes, settling for an RBI double. 4th run batted in tonight for Adrian Beltre. His 2nd straight double.
Well, that's the 2nd ball that Stanton has gotten to after a long run, but not quite able to catch the ball. It happened on Teagarden's blooper down the right field line. And this one Stanton makes a nice play on. He goes a long way, gets a good jump, just doesn't close the deal.
Everything but the catch there, and that's going to be it for Brian Sanchez. He retired the first 6 Rangers he faced, then walked Andrews, and has given up back-to-back RBI doubles to Hamilton and Beltre. And right-hander Jose Seda. He is 24-year-old Jose Seda, 6'4", 280 pounds, out of the Dominican Republic. Just his second appearance, called up June 20th from AAA New Orleans. He was an outstanding closer there. 2-1, 19 saves in 20 opportunities, and an .089 earned run average at AAA. 3 earned runs in 30 and a third innings. Michael Young, the batter. He has walked and scored, popped out and grounded out. Brian Sanchez gone after 2 innings. All this with 2 outs here in the 6th. Began with the walk on the 3-2 pitch to Andrews. Doubles followed by Hamilton and Beltre. Seda, a very intimidating presence out there, listed at 6'4", 280.
He looks every bit of it. Sometimes the weights that they have in the book are a little bit low. That looks just about right on.
A big guy out of a very big bullpen. Jack McKeon has 9 relief pitchers to choose from. He's got a very thin bench. He's already used 2 of only 3 backups he has in this game. Young now works the count to 3 balls and a strike. Wes Helms in the game. At third, Brett Hayes, the catcher. Only Jose Lopez is left. And now Seda will have to come to Michael 3-2. Seda, when called up, led all of AAA, tied for third at all of minor league baseball with those 19 saves. 8 games last year with the Marlins. No record of .519 ERA. Down the line, slicing into the seats, still 3-2. Anibal Sanchez had his shortest start since August 27th of 09. Lasted just 3 2/3. 7 of these 9 runs on his ledger. Line drive left field right at Logan Morrison. But the Rangers get 2 more runs, both with 2 outs on 2 hits, both 2 base hits. On to the 7th, it's 9-0. By Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com today. Toyota, moving forward. Hey, Barnett with Tom Breeze Into the 7th inning we go, and it's all Rangers tonight. First of 3 games against the Florida Marlins. They jumped all over Anibal Sanchez, one of the top pitchers in the National League. 7 of these 9 runs. He is about to fall to 6-2 on the year. Alexi Ogando, on the other hand, has been near perfect. He is shutting out the Marlins on 2 hits, the first of which came with 2 outs in the 5th inning, a double by Greg Dobbs, the other an infield hit with 2 outs in the 6th by Omar Infante. And Hanley Ramirez is flied to right and walked. He was the first base runner allowed by Alexi, leading off the 5th. And a base hit up the middle. Here's our Toyota on the road interleague baseball scoreboard for tonight. And this afternoon, Philadelphia defeated Toronto 7-6. White Sox over the Cubs 6-4. In Detroit, San Francisco batting in the 9th with a 2-1 lead. Washington over Pittsburgh 2-1. Yankees all over the Mets in the 9th inning 5-1 in the Subway Series. St. Louis over Tampa Bay. Cleveland all over Cincinnati. Atlanta shuts out Baltimore. And in the top of the 7th in Houston, it is now 5-3 Astros. That shutout for the Braves. A 1-hitter by Jair Jurgens, who improves to 11-3, drops his ERA to 1.89. Logan Morrison sends a base hit all the way to the wall, past Chavez in straightaway center field, and Ramirez will come home and end the shutout as Logan Morrison drives in his 31st run to make it 9-1. Ogando threw 6 innings at 83 pitches, 62 for strikes. Fastball still low in the zone. Morrison, his first 2 trips, had grounded to second and popped to third. But a good rip at that one. Mike Baddock's out to check on how Alexi is feeling as we get some activity for the first time tonight in the Ranger bullpen, with Yoshinori Tateyama beginning to throw. So now a run on 4 hits. And Mike Stanton will be the batter. Struck out his first time up. Last time hit it on the nose. A line drive out at Chavez in center field. Andres Blanco has taken over at second base. Ian Kinsler has the rest of the game off. Ian was 0 for 3 with a walk. Blanco, a couple of good performances in Houston at shortstop before Andrews came back. And that's 3 straight base hits for the Marlins, and it gets through Cruz. Morrison will score. Stanton will make second base, and it's 9-2.
Yeah, and that's just a careless error out there, because there's no need to charge that ball. You're not going to throw the runner out from second base from deep right field. And so all you have to do is just slow down and catch the ball. The runner's not going to get a double. You can take your time. Now you're just a little bit over aggressive on that ball, because there's nowhere to throw it once you catch it.
So it is a single for Stanton. And after being completely dominated by Ogando through 6 innings, now getting some good swings first 3 at bats of the 7th inning. Greg Dobbs struck out first time, doubled last time, and that with 2 outs in the 5th inning was their first base hit. But now they've got 4 hits among the last 5 batters they've sent up there. So it is a single for Stanton and an E9 charged to Cruz.
And that's a pitch I'm glad to see Alexi throwing a little bit. That's his changeup. And that can be an important pitch for him if he can develop that. Have something to go with a fastball and a slider. He's thrown a couple of good ones. Gives them something else to look at instead of just fastball slider. kind of an in-between speed. It's a little bit harder than his breaking ball. Obviously slower than his fastball.
That one coming up there at 87 miles an hour. Off speed again, and out to center field. Chavez has the first out of the Marlins' 7th. Hitting the road, take the Rangers with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit TexasRangers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Well, first at bat for Brett Hayes. Took over behind the plate for John Buck after Buck struck out each of his first 2 trips. Tom, this was such a wait-and-see outing for Ogando after 3 straight bad ones. Rangers were going to hope he improved, and then they were completely non-committal about what would happen after tonight.
Well, I think he's answered the questions. And, you know, the 3 starts didn't go his way. The start in Atlanta wasn't as bad as the other 2, though. He pitched 5 innings in that start. There's a couple plays that weren't made behind him. He only gave up 1 earned run in that game, only walked 1 batter. That was a brutally hot day. And the start against the Yankees was a struggle. The start against the Mets was a struggle. But I think through it all, he's been unflappable. It hasn't bothered. I mean, he doesn't want to pitch poorly, but he's not worried about it. He's very confident in his ability, and he's been working between starts on his location, trying to spot his fastball where he wants to. And for the most part, he's done that today. And he's had an excellent breaking ball. There's another very good breaking ball. He's going to get an easy out with it.
Beltre throws out Hayes for the 2nd out.
So if he gets out of the 7th inning, having given up 2 runs, he's got 95 pitches. Tadayama's warmed up in the bullpen. That'll be an excellent start. And whatever questions may have lingered, I think they're erased after that start right there.
So does that mean what seemed to be pretty much already decided, that he would be skipped next time through the rotation? That's completely off.
I don't know. You know, that's a decision they'll have to make, but I don't necessarily think that's true. I think they have to look at the long picture, the whole 6-month season, and decide for a guy that's never started before and has already thrown more innings than he's ever thrown before, if at some point in time it would be wise to do that, even if it doesn't look like he needs it. And they may decide to do that. I don't know. That's a decision that Mike Maddox and Ron Washington will have to make. I think it makes it a lot easier to continue in his regular spot after this strong start. But they may feel like it's in his best interest to do it anyway. That's a decision that will be made down the road.
Wes Helms batting for the first time after Dwayne Wise was lifted 0 for 2.
You know, Mike Maddox has, since he's been here, and I think it's a wise thing, stays in rotation so everybody, when there's an off day, gets an extra day, and it helps keep all 5 starters strong. There are some teams that, you know, have veteran guys in the rotation where you skip other people so that they stay in rotation. You might do that with Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee. I think the Ranger rotation is best served by staying in rotation and having guys frequently pitch with 5 days instead of 4 days. Just helps keep them fresh over 200 innings and 162 ball games.
Well, he has definitely made the question much more interesting with this outstanding performance through 6 2/3. Helms lays off the 1-2 pitch, his 100th, 75 strikes to 25 balls.
The other way you can tinker with people as far as rest goes is with the All-Star break with 3 days off. So we'll wait and see what they decide to do. He definitely doesn't look tired.
Never looked tired, and for most of this game looked absolutely untouchable. Really was until this 7th inning. 3 straight hits. Ramirez led it with a single up the middle. Ground ball. Morrison doubled him in. Then the single to right by Stanton. Second base after the Cruz error. Got Dobbs and Hayes trying to take care of Helms here with the 3-2 pitch. And misses low to keep the 7th inning going for Bonifacio, but it will not be Ogando facing Emilio Bonifacio. As Ron Washington's going to say that's enough after 102 pitches.
Yeah, and this might be a concession to not pushing him a little further than you need to right here with a big lead. 102 pitches, job well done. No sense pushing it to 108 or 112 pitches. He's done the job tonight.
Has he ever? And they are letting him hear about it now. Moment, and what a night it was for Alexi Ogando tonight. 6 2/3 innings. He ended each of the first 6 innings with a strikeout. 8 strikeouts against 2 walks, 5 hits. He threw 102 pitches, 75 for strikes.
Yeah, it was outstanding. Strikeout high of the season with 8. Used his breaking ball exceptionally well for a large number of strikes. Ron Washington's feeling good, and so is Alexi.
Career high 8 strikeouts. For great deals, go to shophonda.com. So, with a 9-2 lead, he can reasonably expect to get his 8th win of the year against 3 losses. Yoshinori Tateyama on to try and get the 3rd out of this 7th inning. And it'll be Emilio Bonifacio, who has grounded out all 3 times against Ogando to first, short, and third. Tateyama, 1-0, a save, and a 371 earned run average. He had a string of 4 straight scoreless innings. That ended on Tuesday night. Scored on just 2 of his last 10 appearances. June 21st here against the Astros. Got his first major league victory. And you're facing the switch hitting Bonifacio, batting left.
Roshi, 88 miles an hour. Reached back for a little extra on that fastball. Like to see him drop that blooper ball in there, that changeup. See if Bonifacio could wait for that.
A little test for him here. Left-handed hitters hitting .310 against him. Right-handed just .158.
just blew him away.
How about that? Up to 89 miles an hour. Tateyama perhaps inspired by the heat of Alexi Ogando tonight. Marlins end the shutout, though. 2 runs, 3 hits. Stretch time. Moreland and Teagarden, and Nelly Cruz a little too far out in front of that pitch from Jose Seda. Our TXU Energy play of the game. Second at bat for Nelly. 3rd inning. A 3-run home run, 412 feet over the Ranger bullpen. His 19th of the year. Capping a 4-run Ranger 3rd, putting it out to 5-0.
Now, all the damage in that inning, all 4 runs driven in by 2 base hits, while a home run and a base hit on 0-2 counts.
To find a plan that's right for you, call TXU Energy. The right things right now. Hit hard, but out to Bonifacio now in center field.
Seda's gotten a couple of outs, but they've been line shots. Michael to left, Nelly to center.
Mitch Moreland, a strikeout, bounce to the mound and fly to center. That 1-hit shot out by Atlanta's Jair Jurgens tonight. Adam Jones of Baltimore, the only hit. Jurgens walked 1, struck out 8. Now 11-3, ERA down to 1.89. Red Sox put 6 on the board in the 7th inning down to Houston. They now lead 7-5. Astros batting bottom of the 7th. High, not that deep, right center field for Bonifacio. Second straight time Orland's gotten a little too far under 1. He's 0 for 4. That brings up Taylor Teagarden. Had his biggest night of the year at the plate. RBI double. The second, scored the first run of the game. He led off the 4th with the double. Scored 1 of 2 Ranger runs. Made it 7-0. At that point, the only issue was how sparkling would the numbers be for Ogando. Dodgers got a run off Tyler Chatwood, bottom of the top of the 2nd inning now at Anaheim. Dodgers 1, Angels 0. Kuroda on the mound for the Dodgers.
Now, if you're a relief pitcher like Tateyama, one of the things you feel good about after getting that out is you left a couple of Ogando's runners out there. I think the one thing that a relief pitcher hates the most is to come in and give up somebody else's runs. You feel a responsibility when you come into the game to come in and take care of the runners that he left. And so I'm sure Tateyama in that situation had a little extra on his fastball and is feeling really good about stranding both of those runners, and Ogando's feeling pretty good about it too.
Arizona a run in the top half of the second at Oakland. A's batting bottom of the second, 1-0 Diamondbacks. And Seattle scored in the first at home against San Diego. Padres batting top of the second, 1-0 Mariners. Strikeout of Teagarden, and Jose Seda has retired all 4 batters he has faced. We go to the 8th, 9-2 Rangers. Vandergriff Honda. Visit us in Arlington or log on to vandergriffhonda.com. Tateyama on for the 8th inning. Infante, Gabby Sanchez, and Hanley Ramirez. With a defensive change for the Rangers, Craig Gentry's into the game in center field, and Andy Chavez moves over to left field. Josh Hamilton will take the rest of the night off. Josh tonight 2 for 2, scored twice, drove in a run, walked twice, one of which was intentional. Omar Infante popped out twice, last time reached on an infield single. And Michael Kirkman now getting loose in the Ranger bullpen. Tateyama came on to strike out Emilio Bonifacio, one of his best fastballs yet, 89 miles an hour, to end the Marlins' 2-run 7th inning. Drops in the breaking ball there, 0-2. Number to stay alive. Tomorrow night, second game of this series, again at 7 o'clock. We'll be back over on Fox Sports Southwest. It'll be Derek Holland for the Rangers, going for his 7th win against 3 losses. Marlins have yet to announce their starter for tomorrow. Looks like it'll be a minor league call-up, possibly Brad Hand, but it is still TBA for Jack McKeon. And a call, strike 3, and how about Tateyama striking out the first 2 Marlins he faces?
Another good fastball, right where he wanted it, just barely touching that outside corner.
8 pitches, 7 strikes from Yoshinori Gabby Sanchez. That will fall in there down the right field line. His first hit after striking out his first 3 trips. 3 of the career high 8 strikeouts rung up by Ogando. Ending 3 innings, the 1st, 4th, and 6th. So 1 out, 1 on for Hanley Ramirez. Sunday night, also at 7 o'clock, Fox Sports Southwest. C.J. Wilson against Javier Vasquez. C.J. will be going for his 9th win. Staff high. Very strong outing, including a triple on Tuesday night down at Minute Maid Park. And running with no interest whatsoever down to second base is Gabby Sanchez. And then the 4th of July, Monday night, also 7 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest. But there are still tickets available to come out and see Colby Lewis against Chris Jakubauskas of the Orioles and watch the big 4th of July post-game fireworks show. Tuesday, Matt Harrison against the still to be determined Orioles starter, and Alexi Ogando back on the mound next Wednesday against Jeremy Guthrie, closing out the 3 games against the Orioles. And Rangers needing some wins, needing to take advantage of this 19-game stretch against clubs under 500, 16 of which are at home. They're 5-4 so far. This win would make them 6-4. Unable to sweep the Astros here or in Houston. Dropped 2 of 3 to the Mets. But they've got Jack McKeon's Marlins last in the National League East, followed by Baltimore last in the American League East, followed by Oakland last in the American League West. Schedule-wise, all the ingredients in place for the Rangers finally to make the run that everybody in baseball basically is expected to happen all along and take charge of the division. Angels tonight trying to stretch their winning streak to 4, just a game back. Seattle dropping off a little bit, trying to end a 3-game losing streak, 3.5 back. But so far tonight, taking care of business in a big way against the Marlins. Ramirez, a long look at that breaking ball.
That was a pretty close one to take. He was upset with himself for fouling off the pitch before it. That was number 4 right down the middle of the plate.
Dodgers have added another run in the 2nd inning, now up on the Angels 2-0. The 2-2 pitch just fouled off of Teagarden.
Tadayama's got him talking to himself up at the plate, banging himself in the foot with his bat, talking to himself. Banging himself in the helmet with a bat. Guy's a lifetime .313 hitter, hitting .220 right now.
He's seen the heat of Ogando and now being hypnotized by Tatayama. Hits that one well, but that's down the line in the seats. Difference of about 10 miles an hour in their respective fastballs. Yoshi all about getting you off your timing. Seeing something you think you can clobber, and either you get a little ahead of yourself or don't get quite the contact you thought you would get.
Change up. He's giving him everything he's got, boy. pretty good at bat insofar as taking close pitches. Took a really close curveball, and that changeup was a changeup you'll see a lot of guys swing at. On the other hand, he's missed some pretty good pitches to hit too. So it's tough to call it a good at bat when you get a couple of good pitches to hit and foul them off.
And he's had them all over the strike zone too. Finally, the swing and the miss. On the curve. Third strikeout among 4 batters faced by Tateyama.
I'd say that's a very frustrating at bat for Hanley Ramirez as he slowly walks back to the dugout.
Way out in front of it. So an impressive inning in relief of Tateyama comes to an end now as Michael Kirkman will come out of the bullpen. Yoshi strikes out 3. Gives up the single to Sanchez. Kirkman on to try and get Logan Morrison to end the Marlin 8th. Things over to Michael Kirkman for the last out here in the 8th inning. 3 strikeouts, 18 pitches, 14 strikes. Ranger bullpen now includes Tommy Hunter, who was activated today. Dave Bush designated for assignment. Tommy Hunter, after working in rehab at AAA Round Rock as a relief pitcher, in that role at least for the time being. And the Rangers in particular impressed by an increase in his velocity in that role, getting up to 95 miles an hour last night. You see Kirkman's numbers. Last 4 games, 9 earned runs, 10 in the 3rd innings for Michael. First pitch to Morrison, a foul pop back out of play. Logan Morrison ended the Ogando shutout, an RBI double, driving in Hanley Ramirez in the 7th inning. And then he scored on the single by Stanton. Good breaking ball, and it's 0-2. In the Ranger 8th, Chavez, Blanco, and Andrews. And how about a 3-pitch strikeout by Kirkman? Tateyama and Kirkman strike out the side in the 8th inning. 9-2 Texas. Rangers half of the 8th now. It's Chavez, Blanco, and Andrews against Jose Seda, who came on to get the last out of the 6th inning. A line drive by Michael Young to left, and tied all 4 batters he's faced. He got Cruz to line to center, Moreland to fly to center, and struck out Teagarden in the 7th. Infante to his left, flagged down that ground ball. Coca-Cola Total Family Packs offer savings up to 50% for most Sunday through Thursday Rangers games. You can choose from upper or lower reserve seats and receive 4 tickets, hot dogs, and Cokes, plus $20 in Sports Park tokens and 1 souvenir program. Look for the coupon on specially marked Coca-Cola 20 packs in stores now. Sum of $32,474 in the ballpark tonight. Andres Blanco batting for the first time. Took over in the 7th for Kinsler, who was 0 for 3 with a walk. Ron Washington highly complimentary of Blanco's work in the 4 games where Elvis Andrus was healing his sprained wrist, and he sends that one deep and out to right field. Second home run for Andres. It's 10-2.
A long one for Andres. That one didn't scrape the back wall. That was about halfway back. And I think what you see with Blanco is once he got a little bit of regular playing time, he got his timing back. It's tough when you're not playing every day. You do the best you can, and he'd never make an excuse for that. And once he got 4 or 5 games in a row, he started to swing the bat really well. And boy, he really jumped on that pitch. Hit that like one of the big guys.
Both of his runs batted in this year, home runs. April 23rd against Kansas City. This is his 3rd career homer. .378 feet. Well gone out in right field. Bosch says all Blanco does is work. He may go days on end, maybe a couple weeks without getting into a game. Never complains, always ready. Terrific fielder. Made only 1 error, mostly playing shortstop.
Yeah, I think Ron appreciates that because that's the kind of player he was when he was playing.
And Andrews gets a base hit in front of the dive by Stanton. Rangers getting some good at-bats now against Jose Seda.
Pretty nice pickup on that short hop. Stanton's had to run a lot out there in the outfield today. You know, he's gotten to a couple of balls that have gone for extra base hits that have gone off his glove. And that one probably, as a degree of difficulty goes, way tougher than the ones he couldn't catch. Caught that one right in the middle of his glove.
Craig Gentry's first at bat now. In Josh Hamilton's spot. Josh tonight walked twice, singled, doubled in a run, scored twice. Good night for Josh, who was 2 for 16 over his previous 4 games. And another base hit. Solid knock up the middle for Gentry. 3 straight hits after the first out here in the 8th inning off of Seda. They started to get to him as they did Ryan Sanchez, who retired the first 6 batters he faced, and then 3 straight reached. They got to him for 2 runs in the 6th.
A couple of the balls that the Rangers have hit for outs were hard hit balls too, right off the bat. First 2 batters he faced, Young and Cruz, both hit hard line drives to the outfield.
Randy St. Clair is the Marlins pitching coach. No action as of yet. Now they're going to get somebody of their 9 relief pitchers out there up. What a night for Adrian Beltre after his frustrations of last night. Going 0 for 4, committing an error, ending an inning with all 4 of his at-bats, just 2 for 13 in Houston, 3 straight hits, all driving in runs. Single and a run had scored in the 4-run third, a 2-run double in the 4th, RBI double in the 6th. He is up to 61 runs batted in. And Burt Badenhop begins to throw for Florida. 61 RBIs would tie Beltre for 3rd in the league with Paul Konerko. Adrian Gonzalez began the night leading the league by wide margin, 71, 8 more than Mark Teixeira. Then it was Konerko 61, Beltre 57. Curtis Granderson next at 56. Seda behind Adrian, 3 balls and a strike. In the Florida ninth, there 6, 7, and 8 hitters are due. Mike Stanton, Greg Dobbs, and Brett Hayes. Beltre walks to load the bases and get Jack McKeon out to end Seda's night, which was perfect through the ground out to begin this inning by Chavez. Then the Blanco homer, the back-to-back hits by Andrus and Gentry. The walk to Beltre does it. And so on comes young Burt Badenhop, trying to get Michael Young and limit any more damage here in the Ranger 8. Costume night out there. We also had Santa Claus here beginning of the game. Not in full regalia, just the beard. He gave himself away. Burt Badenhop, 4th Marlin pitcher of the night. 28-year-old, came over from Detroit, the Dontrell Willis trade. And a swing and a miss from Michael Young, who has walked and scored the first Ranger run on the first of 2 doubles by Taylor Teagarden back in the second. He has since popped out, grounded out, and lined out. And Michael, the only Ranger to face all 4 Florida pitchers tonight. Brian Sanchez got him ground out to end the 4th. Seda got him to line to left to end the 6th. 8-game home hitting streak on the line as a result. The bases loaded. Andrews at third, Gentry at second, Beltre at first. And a base hit through the hole for Michael Young. Andrews comes home. Everybody moves up one. It's 11-2. RBI 54 for Young. He has driven in a run at 7 straight games now here at the ballpark.
A pretty good sinker from Badenhop. Michael hits it on the ground just like he wanted him to do. He's trying to get a ground ball double play, but Michael found the hole between short and third.
5 straight Rangers have reached now, and here's Nelson Cruz with a big cut and a miss. Nelly tonight has struck out, fly to right, line to center, and then in the third inning, a 3-run home run. Hoping to celebrate his 31st birthday today on an 0-2 pitch over the Ranger bullpen. That's a shot into the right field corner. Gentry scores. Beltre behind him. Young being waved around. Cruz headed for third. He clears the bags with a triple.
A very similar ball that Beltre hit with the bases loaded. Found a hole inside the first base bag.
A 6 RBI night for Cruz, from 43 to 49 runs batted in with his first triple. Right into the corner by the time Stanton got to it. No chance. But Cruz wouldn't make 3, and the first pitch hits Moreland. The Marlins playing the infield in with 1 out. Certainly Badenhop frustrated, but can't believe he's trying to do anything like that.
No, it looked like the catcher had set up in. He's trying to throw him a sinker in. He just threw it a little too far in.
So the Rangers bat around here in the 8th. Here's Teagarden. Struck out his last 2 trips, doubled in his first 2. Drove it his first run of the year with the first Ranger run of the night back in the 2nd. Scored in the 4th. Cruz has tied his career high of 6 runs batted in from April 15th, 2009 against the Orioles. A lot of big nights for a number of Rangers. Andrews has scored 3 times. That's a base hit. A 3-hit night for Taylor Teagarden. Cruz comes home. A 6-run bottom of the 8th for the Rangers.
Yeah, 8 straight Rangers have reached. 6 hits, hit by pitch, and a walk.
First 2 runs batted into the year for Taylor Teagarden. And Bert Badenhop continues to be rocked. Young greeted him with an RBI single, then the 3-run triple by Cruz. He hit Moreland, who's now out at second base. Andy Chavez started this inning by grounding to second against Jose Seda. And a first pitch strike on the corner. Since the start of the 09 season, Cruz's 2 6 RBI games are the only 2 by a Ranger. That one gets right past Infante. And Chavez has to look up and realize that second base is occupied by Teagarden, and he is tagged out. So he has made both the outs here.
Yeah, that's like a mercy out right there. Well, if this was a closer ball game, then Dave Anderson would have scored the run right there. But in a 15-2 game, he's not trying to pile it on. So he stopped the runner at third base. Therefore, the runner at second base stopped. Chavez just assumed when that ball rolled out there that everybody else moved up a base. So he's not really sure what's going on, other than he knows he's out now.
That goes 4-6-3. Off Infante. Ramirez flagged it down through to Sanchez. And here again, Blanco, and he grounds to Infante, and that will do it. A 6-run Ranger 8. 6 hits, including a 3-run triple by Cruz. We go to the ninth. It's 15-2. They had 13 April 9th, game 2 of the doubleheader at Baltimore. 15 tonight with a 6-run 8th inning. Their second highest scoring inning of the year. They had 7 June 10th against the Twins in the second inning. And in the 9th inning, Michael Kirkman to try and finish up this resounding win with Stanton, Dobbs, and Hayes, the scheduled Marlin hitters. Sound like might have broken his bat. Elvis Andrus just in time. 1 pitch, 1 out. For Kirkman, 4 pitches, 2 outs. He struck out Morrison to end the Marlin 8th. 15 runs, 15 hits for the Rangers tonight. 1 error, 7 left. 2 runs, 6 hits, an error, and 6 left for the Marlins. And the last unused man on Jack McKeon's bench, Jose Lopez, will bat here at the DH spot, where Greg Dobbs was 1 for 3. His double with 2 outs in the 5th. The first base hit allowed by Alexi Ogando.
It wasn't that long ago that Lopez hitting in the middle of the lineup for Seattle. Driving in close to 90 runs one year.
Two years ago, he had a huge year.
Hit 24, 25 home runs.
Yep, 25 homers, 96 runs batted in. Last year dropped off to 10 homers, 58 runs batted in. Now he's in Florida. And he strikes out. 3 up and 3 down. 2 strikeouts for Michael Kirkman.
Yeah, both the relievers have come in and picked up right where Ogando left off. Tadayama pitched 1 inning. He struck out 3. Michael's pitched 1 inning. He struck out a couple. Altogether, 13 strikeouts for the Rangers today.
13 strikeouts against just 2 walks, 6 base hits. So here is Brett Hayes, who replaced John Buck behind the plate in the 6th inning. 15 Ranger hits, not close to a season high. They had 20 on May 30th at Tampa Bay. But the 15 runs, that is the season high. Alexi Ogando, 6 2/3, 2 runs, 5 hits, struck out career high 8, walked 2, threw 102 pitches. People were curious as to what he would have tonight. He had some of his best stuff ever. And it's going to go to 8-3. This is hit high and deep to left. Chavez looks up, and it is gone.
Right off the top of the wall.
Brett Hayes, a 2-out, top of the 9th home run, his 3rd of the year. That's 15-3. And the cheer you hear is because that throw is thrown all the way into Andrews. Somebody's got a pretty good arm out there in left field. I don't know if you saw this, Tom, a couple days ago, maybe yesterday. Somebody from the left field bleachers at Wrigley Field threw a home run back, and it went all the way through the field.
I heard about it, but I never did catch the replay of it. How far did it go in the air?
In the air, it was
all the way to the infield.
It was pretty close to the mound, actually.
Wow. Lucky he didn't hit anybody.
That one cleared by a couple of feet. 0-2 now to Wes Helms. Just low with that breaking ball. Kirkman, 14 pitches, 11 strikes. A nice return to form for him. And 2-2. A little bit high, 94 miles an hour, and the count is full. Ogando benefiting from Taylor Teagarden's first career 3-hit game. Nelson Cruz's second career 6 RBI game. Andrews has scored 3 times. And that will be in there for a base hit to right field. And the 9th inning continues with top of the order Bonifacio. So it was an impressive performance through 3 batters for Kirkman. 2 strikeouts, then the home run by Hayes and the single by Helms to keep it going. Five Rangers have scored multiple runs tonight, led by Andrus' 3. Four Rangers with multi-hit games. Led by Teagarden with 3. Well, you know, it's a little anxious now, even with a 15-3 game for Kirkman, just trying to end this thing.
That's all he's thinking right now. Throw a strike, pop it up, and let's get out of here. There you go. Stay in.
Right field chases Cruz back, and it's over his head and off the wall. And Helms will be waved all the way around from first base. Double by Bonifacio. And 3 straight 2-out hits, scoring 2 runs to make it 15-4.
The ball was hit a little harder than I thought coming off the bat. Bonifacio drove that ball over Nelly's head.
Just off the top of his glove.
Not going to touch the top of his fingers.
So Mike Maddox out now to try and buck up Kirkman, as Omar Infante will be the batter. 1 for 4, an infield hit in the 6th. 2 pop-ups and a strikeout. Dodgers now 3-0 up on the Angels, bottom of the 3rd in Anaheim. Seattle 4, Padres 0, bottom of the 3rd. And that would have done it, but it gets through Beltray. Bonifacio comes home. It's 15-5, a 3-run 9th inning for the Marlins. E5 on Beltray.
Yeah, this would be a tough inning to be watching if it wasn't such a lopsided ball game. Last out's been tough to get.
This is the 11th error this year on Beltray. Anticipated a little higher bounce than he got, it looked like. So Gabby Sanchez now struck out his first 3 trips against Ogando, singled off Tatiyama.
Try it again.
Andrews, and that finally does it. Marlins get 3 runs, 3 hits and an error in the 9th inning, but the Rangers take one of their biggest wins of the year, 15-5. And a lot of heroes in this one, including the birthday boy Nelson Cruz, who we hope to talk to for the post-game show. Season high 15 runs. They become just the 2nd team this year to beat Anibal Sanchez. He's 6-2. And Alexi Ogando in his return to form wins to improve to 8-3. 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs on 5 hits, career high 8 strikeouts, and he walked 2. Texas Rangers baseball on TXA 21. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. By AT&T, rethink possible. By TXU Energy, to find a plan that's right for you, call TXU Energy, the right things right now. And by your Texas Ford dealers, Ford is the best in Texas. Rangers win at 15-5, and we'll be back here on TXA 21 with much more.